everybody, your host SonGoshuaku here. I just got through seeing in the theaters earlier today. So, like many of you out there, in terms of the American fans, I grew up on the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z that came on Toonami. I started watching back in like 1998, and of course I saw the Funimation dub from 1999 to 2003, and then eventually it was after that that, like many other hardcore fans that wanted to know beyond the Dragon Ball dub, what else was there to this franchise? So going back, watching the Japanese version and learning that the dub really wasn't as accurate as we probably thought it would be. And so thus I ended up getting a huge appreciation for what the original Japanese version was. And it's the reason why I was so thankful as you get into Dragon Ball Kai in the early 2010s and even Dragon Ball Super to maybe a little bit lesser degree because they took some liberties with that. You see, and just an overall tonal shift in terms of anime being dubbed in America. It's not like the 90s and 2000s again, where now they basically really appreciate, the dub companies in America really appreciate in terms of making or not just Dragon Ball, making anime in general a lot more closer to its Japanese source material, which I feel is a lot more respectful of where it came from. And I am glad to say that looking here at Dragon Ball DAIMA, I think honestly it has to be one of the greatest dubs ever produced for Dragon Ball, right up there with Dragon Ball Kai. They were very, very accurate compared to what you got when it came to the Japanese version. The subtitles that are currently on Crunchyroll, yeah, that's pretty much what you're getting here in the dub. So I thought it was tremendous. The vocal performances were definitely excellent. So I really have to say I definitely enjoyed the dub from that standpoint. Now I won't go into like the story and all that because that's what I do on my Dragon Ball weekly streams as I review the show. So I'm just going to be looking mostly at the performances here. So first, I will also have to say this. As you see, November 10th, 11, and 12, it was limited theater showing, but they only did episodes 1, 2, 3. I personally think episodes 4 and even 5, especially with how much more I would say dramatic with like how the fights were, I think that would have been something definitely better to help pull in a lot more casual fans who maybe only want to watch the Dragon Ball series for just the fighting. You would have had more action there, because the thing is, with a weekly series, you can take your time, you can actually build it up, versus when you have this going through basically into like a 90-minute package for a theater, you gotta kind of make the pace a lot more quicker. So I don't know if this necessarily left the best impression on people in the theater who saw this for the first time and didn't even know much about what Daima was. You know, I'm talking about like the fan that just said, oh snap, there's Dragon Ball in theaters? Yeah, quite the downgrade in terms of a fully fleshed out epic movie story compared to what we got in Dragon Ball Super Broly and Dragon Ball Super Hero. However, Daima, of course, is a series that takes its time building up the story, so I definitely wish they would have done some more there. Another thing that I also noticed is that when it came down to the theme songs, Zed, of course, creating Jakanjan and Nakama, which is the ending theme, they did not show that in theaters. And I was like, I can't believe it, because those animations are amazing and they do a very good job of actually showing what is to come in Dragon Ball DAIMA. And I think if you're putting this in theaters as a way to try and lure in more casual viewers to want to watch this show on the streaming services, you want them to see this, because that's where you're getting the Super Saiyajin, aka Super Saiyan transformations from Son Goku and Vegeta. It's where you're seeing the main cast that we're gonna have. You're seeing fights with the Tamagamis, all that. Like, those opening and endings are such a great preview that you would want to show that to your audience, so you can say, hey, come out on Netflix and Crunchyroll and whatever else platform is streaming this to watch it. So I thought that was a very weird decision, because when they did the ending theme songs, they kind of just kept merging them into each episode, and the ending theme song was just screenshots of what we just already watched of the previous 3 episodes. A little funny note here too, apparently Masako Nozawa had a special intro before the episode started. We were running a little bit late, me and my friend, when we went to go see this theater, and when we got in there, I was telling her, like, oh, don't worry, they're on the very first part, because we came right in when they were showing like the Dragon Ball from the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, when they were showing those screenshots for the animation. So like, okay, the only thing you missed was Bulma and Goku's first meeting, but apparently that was not the case, so I'm gonna have to look that up online. But that was pretty cool to even see that they had Masako Nozawa do sort of the introduction for this, so that was really awesome. But mostly here, like I said, everything was really good. The music, everything, they left the Japanese music and background all intact, so it's just really great to see how far the dub has come compared to when we were watching it as kids. That being said, let me go ahead and get to the vocal cast. So in terms of like returning cast, Schemmel, who I absolutely adore as Son Goku, because boy do we have a lot of praise for that man, and the OG Masako Nozawa in my upcoming Dragon Ball podcast that I did in person for the Son Goku character. Monica Rial is Bulma, who's awesome. Vegeta, Chris Sabat is Vegeta, of course. It was awesome. So it was just great. You're hearing Krillin as Sonny Strait, and then you also had others like Justin Cook as Dende. So pretty much Kent Williams, Supreme Kai, Chuck Hubert as Kibito, Josh Martin as Majin Buu. It was great to see Duncan Brandon back as the Great Wizard Buffety. Like, it's just fantastic. Alexis Tipton is Trunks, and Gotenks. Kara Edwards is Goten, Trunks, respectively, both of them, right, as Gotenks and Goten and Trunks. So that was great. And I will say this, listening to the older cast in this, you know, they all are so much more seasoned as voice actors than when they first started, when Funimation was just getting started at that time. But man, the director for this, who wasn't Chris Sabat this time around, is Jonathan Rigg. You could tell that he is definitely a huge fan of the Dragon Ball series, because the way he made everyone match their cadence and the way they delivered their lines, it felt like watching the old DBZ dub or the Kai dub, because I actually even think the Funimation dub around the Majin Buu saga is where I think a lot of those actors were coming into their own. So there was a great sense of nostalgia with that first episode, just seeing everyone, like I said, with Duncan Brandon being Bobbity. I mean, just hearing him do the yes, Majin Buu. Like, man, if you go back to one of my first videos I ever uploaded here on my YouTube channel, you could tell how much of an influence he was for me just even getting into voice acting. So it was great to hear him again. And then we get to the newly cast. So, well, not quite, because one of the big draws that they had for this was the return of Stephanie Nadolny as Mini Goku, because of course in the OG version of the Funimation dub for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT, and of course as Son Gohan, the Kid Son Gohan in Dragon Ball Z, she was doing those voices. And man, I always thought growing up Stephanie Nadolny killed it, and this was her first time, I think, since 2005 doing a series going back to the end of Dragon Ball GT. And then of course I don't think she ever did anything with Dragon Ball. I think going back to, man, you have to go to 2008, I think it was, because in 2008 she did the Burst Limit video game as Son Gohan on the PS3, and then later that year they released Dragon Ball Z Infinite World, which is the fourth and final PS2 game and the fourth installment in the Budokai series, and she was obviously, I think, Kid Goku and Kid Gohan in that. And after that, Stephanie left Dragon Ball for quite a while, and now she came back and, man, killed it. Obviously, she's an even more seasoned veteran at doing voice acting than what she was 15 years ago, but man, you could just tell it felt like she just picked the microphone back up and never missed a beat. Tremendous. And now that she's even more of a seasoned actress, just amazing. Like, it was tremendous. Just, you know, if you've grown up watching this woman as Kid Goku, it brought back so much nostalgia. And like I said, her delivery, her line, her performance is fantastic. So it's great that Stephanie was cast to come back as Kid Goku. And then there was a lot of new voice actors and actresses that got the opportunity to step up here, basically not just in the English dub here, but in the Japanese version as well. So I've got the list up here. So for the East Kaioshin, known as the Supreme Kai in the dub, Nina Selselt. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but Nina did a tremendous job as the East Kaioshin. It almost sounded like the Japanese voice actress was talking, but now in English. Like, she did a fantastic job matching the OG Japanese voice actress. And then for Vegeta Mini, Paul Castro Jr., man, now those of us who've seen Kid Vegeta throughout the years in the dub, you've always had Chris Sabat, who, you know, he would go ahead and he would put on like this little light voice and everything, a lighten up voice to do Kid Vegeta. And here it is totally different. Like, Paul Castro Jr. sounded, I thought, more like a Kid Vegeta, more like a kid, as opposed to, like, it sounded like Sabat's just trying to make his voice really high and everything. This one, he sounded a lot more like Kid, but man, did he nail Christopher Sabat's cadence when speaking as Vegeta. Like, it just sounds like Vegeta, but younger in the dub. Absolutely killed it. Then for Piccolo, we had Nassim Piccolo. I'm sorry, I'm butchering these last names, but he did a tremendous job, I thought, as Piccolo. He actually made Piccolo sound he made Piccolo sound a little bit, he definitely made Piccolo sound younger, but not too young. Like, it sounded different. Like, I always remember Piccolo having like a very, like, nasally type voice, or something from OG Dragon Ball. It's been a while since I watched it when he first appeared and everything at the end of the Piccolo DAIMA, aka King Piccolo arc. But his performance here, he kind of made Piccolo sound a little bit younger, like as if he's a preteen going into, you know, early teen stage, like 13 and something. But I thought his performance was absolutely great. He really captured the seriousness of Piccolo and everything, so I thought that was good. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it throughout. And then when it came to Bulma, it was played by Taylor Murphy. Now, Taylor, she completely captured the spirit of Bulma. It sounded like Bulma completely from what we had with Tiffany and Monica Rial and everything, and now just she really captured what they did as adult Bulma and putting it back here now as like Bulma Mini. I thought she actually really nailed it. Excellent job there. Chi-Chi was played by Brittany Londa. If I said a name, my apologies if I butcher that. But yeah, she did a really good job as Chi-Chi. I thought they would bring back the original voice actress for Chi-Chi from when she was a kid in Dragon Ball. I forget the name right off the bat right now, but yeah, I thought she did a great job as Chi-Chi. Just a quick audio add-on, because I forgot to mention this during the actual recording, which is Korin, aka Krillin's voice actress, is actually replaced. So in the original Dragon Ball dub, it was Lori Steele. However, in Dragon Ball DAIMA, Krillin Mini is actually voiced by Laura Woodhull. Now, I actually thought Laura Woodhull did a great job of both matching the cadence of what Lori Steele did back in the OG Dragon Ball dub, while at the same time making this her own. So I'm not sure why they decided to go with this change, but I thought Laura did a great job nonetheless. Jordan Dash Cruz, he played the mini version of Muten Roshi, aka Master Roshi. Man, he absolutely nailed it. Talking a lot about cadences. You know how Roshi would talk when he's all like, the turtle hermit. Yeah, he was able, obviously, to lighten his voice, make it sound younger, you know, be like, you know, yeah, I'm talking about Master Roshi, like the turtle hermit. Like, I can't do it the way he did it justice, but he made Roshi sound young, but still spoke with that same cadence. Tremendous. I thought he was a tremendous performance, and he really got into character. That was fantastic. We had the baby versions of Trunks and Dende. Trunks played by, is it Chelsea Perez? Emmy Lowe for Dende. You know, they're going to be babies. It made sense to recast because now they're even younger. So I saw some people were wondering why they cast the voice actresses when they were already young. But yeah, obviously they had to play babies now. So I thought it made sense there. And then Mr. Popo by Trisha Mellon, who I believe I follow on X. I think she actually follows me back too. So it's really cool to see so many talented voice actors and actresses on X. So it's really cool to seeing them get huge opportunities like this in such a franchise of Dragon Dragon Ball. So much respect to her to see how far she has come in her voiceover journey. And then we had Kibito by Aaron Michael, who I thought did a great job. Corey Phillips as Mark Satan, aka Mr. Satan, absolutely hilarious. Like I said, they really captured the adult versions of these characters and putting them back into making them sound like how they would be as kids. And then we even had Majin Buu Mini by Dusty Feeney. If I said that name wrong, I'm sorry if I butchered it. Other than just hearing live, I didn't get to hear much, but it's really cool just to see so many young voice actors and actresses get their opportunity to shine here. So I thought the performances were great. You mostly heard a lot more Stephanie Nadolny, and yeah, like I said, man, she just absolutely killed it. I think this is like one of the best I've ever heard from her in terms of Dragon Ball. So that was really awesome. And then from there, as far as some of the newer casts, we had Doc Morgan as the narrator. I don't remember. Oh yeah, there was the early lines early. That was cool because I was like, I don't think I remember seeing much narration going on. Glorio was by Aaron Dismuck. I thought he nailed it really good. I may have even liked his performance a little bit more than the Japanese voice actor, who, all due respect, he did a tremendous job. But yeah, Aaron, he really captured the more serious side of Glorio, as that's how he talks a lot. But man, when it was time to raise his voice and he tells Goku, get back from here, don't fall in the like, man, he really got into it, and I thought that was so awesome. So he really nailed it. I'm looking forward to his performance. King Gomah, Tom Lathine, if I said his name right, man, I'm listening there, and I was telling my friend in the theater, I was telling her, like, man, he must have been highly influenced by Duncan Brannon, because so much of the way he was laughing and talking, and he's like, that great Bobbity is out of it, now I can rule the demon realm. Like, the way he was just getting into character, it gave me so many Bobbity vibes. So many. Like, wow. Once again, all due respect to the original Japanese voice actor of Gomah, because I thought he was good, but man, he was such a blast to listen through. I was just amazed. I remember saying, like, 5 minutes in, I told my friend, I was telling her, like, man, 5 minutes in, and voice acting already on point. Man, Tom did a fantastic job. Like Gomah, I don't take him serious, right? He's a comedic character. He's kind of like a tribute to Emperor Pilaf. But man, if this is the type of performances he's gonna be giving all throughout Dragon Ball, like, I can't wait to hear. It's like I said recently in an upcoming podcast when it comes about Dragon Ball GT. I thought, Mike McFarlane absolutely killed it as baby. Like, Dragon Ball GT, it has a lot of issues story-wise, but when it comes to a performance standpoint, boy, did the actors and actresses killed it, and I thought Mike McFarlane, he killed it as baby, Yes, the Saiyans will fall to the Tuffle race. Like, man, just hearing, like, his voice was so fantastic. So, man, I can't wait to hear more of Tom's Gomah throughout this series. It's going to be a blast. And then Degesu by London McDonald. Degesu was great. He absolutely fit the character, the way he was able to make the voice sound. He fit every bit of this character, just like in the original Japanese version. So I thought he did a great job. Dr. Arinsu, who was by Morgan Laurie. Man, absolutely awesome. Just bad a double dollar sign sounding voice. She absolutely nailed it. I like characters that sound like they kind of like that Lust type of character from Full Metal Alchemist. She nailed it absolutely, because man, I'm looking forward to hearing more, and I just want to see more from Dr. Arinsu later on, because I'm thinking she's going to be a more bigger, badder villain than what we might get out of Gomah. So yeah, she absolutely killed it. Garrett Shenek, I probably butchered his name, I apologize. He was Neva, and what I really liked about his voice acting as Neva is that Neva, when it came to Neva's voice acting, he did a great job sounding, he was like, oh, so I haven't seen another kid about another 2,000 years or so. Like he kind of, I don't want to say, but he almost gave me what's the dude from Family Guy that was the really creepy old guy from Family Guy? Like, well, he would be talking like this. Like, that's kind of what his voice almost reminded me as when he was talking in his regular voice. But then when he got more sinister and he's like, yes, seems the Dragon Balls need to be restored by my power. I'm like, oh man, he really brought the ominous present to his voice. So the way he was able to switch like that was fantastic. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more from Garrett. We had Sir Warp and Small Sir Warp by Christian Arrows. I thought he was great. He really captured the annoyance. You know, I don't think the voice was as deep as it was in the Japanese version, but I thought that was really great. And so, yeah, that was mostly the cast overall. And I know they had a lot of other voice actors and actresses that were filling in like the background roles and stuff, but it was great. Like I said, when I was done, I felt like, man, there is so much care and attention that went into this dub of Dragon Ball DAIMA. Truly tremendous. Like, man, I absolutely love it, man. It's just great to see it. Like I said, I've been watching the Dragon Ball series since 1998 on those old dubs, and I went back to watch the Japanese versions to get an appreciation for the series. And even though I do still love the dub and the nostalgia and everything that it did, I would say I kind of did mature a lot in terms of respecting more of what Dragon Ball was meant to be in Japan. And now seeing that respect going into a lot of these newer dubs, it's just truly fantastic. And I can't give enough praise. I am certainly looking forward to this, and I think this is going to go down as one of the greatest English dubs for the Dragon Ball franchise. And overall, just really great. But yeah, like I said, I thought they should have put more than just the first 3 episodes in the actual series. So that being said, if you'd like to check out more Dragon Ball content, go ahead and click right there on the screen, as well as make sure to follow me on my social media platforms. Links are all going to be in the description below and pinned comment as well. Until next time, take care.